Peace to the universal family. I come in the name of Earth, say love, and pardon the lighting, or if it's a little bit fuzzy. It's a little later in the evening, and yeah, the sun's setting. So pardon, we're a little bit late coming on this evening. Got caught up with some other things with work this afternoon, but as always. We do intend to come on every Monday live 4 o'clock until we start producing some episodes. We'll be on live 4 o'clock on Mondays, and we're still building up our Wednesdays. So, quick announcement, then we're going to get into it. Well, let me just tell you today, we're in, oh goodness, let me tell you which sequence we're in our mentorship and advocacy program, Almanac 2023. We are in sequence. We're in sequence 24, but I did not provide the sequence 23 last week. We were catching up on letter K. So we're gonna be covering both sequence 23 and 24, and that is life skills and leadership we'll be discussing this evening. And so we've got our original 52 topic sequence. And of course, we're in the second season, which is April, May, and June. And if you flip over to letter L, everything's alphabetical. You'll find us right over. Oh, just a quick reminder, if you haven't yet, I'm checking for those who haven't done your June Horizon homework yet. I'm checking your homework. So you've got June in your calendar to write any important dates, adult coloring. And so, yeah, we're in sequence 23 and 24. So you'll find letter L, and that's for this previous week. And you can start notes there, or you can do all your notes on the following back page. So this is the sequence we're in, 24. Today is June 12th. And yeah, so you can do your adult coloring, take notes there, or just, like I said, do it all on this side. And yeah, that's where we're at in our mentorship and advocacy program, Almanac. Sequences 23 and 24. That means this is the 24th 7-day sequence of the year. So we're nearly halfway through the year. Sequence 27 will start us on our second half. So we're in this. I also want to make the announcement. You remember I shared some of the art for the journal. That's the cover art. And then the back cover art. And here it is, y'all. Here's the journal. Isn't it gorgeous? I love these colors. So I wanted to do a color scheme and a logo that complemented the almanac. However, that was different. So you'll see the color schemes match. We've got the deep purple and the oh goodness, I forget what the color's called, but the light pink. I forget the exact name of this. But you'll see they're both in there. We don't have the heliotrope purple in it or the blue turquoise, but we've got this other light blue. So we've got that. And it's beautiful. I was going to get glossy. The almanac is glossy. I did this one in matte just so I can get your feedback. I wanted them to both match, but then I said, well, I guess it's good that we have one of each so I can get feedback. I kind of like this too, but I like the glossy too. So you've got one of each. And it's really just the title page, the half title page, the title page. And of course, you'll see the concept. Pardon, I'm a little bit sleepy. The concept, WIN. So the archaic spelling of empowerment is with an I. So I'm not only being funny and clever, but it is a true spelling. So I wanted, as I did the acronym for MAP, for Mentorship and Advocacy Program, we've got the acronym WIN for Women's Empowerment Network, our 2023 journal. So celebrating our wins every Wednesday, still in development. Then, of course, the dedication page dedicated to all the young queens out there, and the page where you write your name, who it belongs to. And then all the other pages are onks, very simple design. But it's really good paper. It's great quality paper for pens. I mean, you can use your gel pens, your pens if you want to, your brush pens, whatever you want. But I really like pencils in this kind of, it's just the perfect kind of paper for colored pencils, regular pencils. So what I'm doing, I've already mailed 3 of these off to clients. And then all my other clients, I've got one for you if you're in the mentorship program. And I had a little bit left on a gift card and I came a little bit out of pocket, but I was waiting for donors to hook us up with some colored pencils, but I didn't want to wait anymore because some of y'all don't have pencils, and we've got the adult coloring in there, and then this is free form. Some of y'all are just doing traditional journaling in here. I have songwriters in the program. I got lyricists. I have dream interpreters. I have those writing prose and poetry and memoir. So we're going to develop more of that on Wednesdays and share more writing, and also get some powerful sisters on the show. This is not just about, it's not about me. It's not just about my clients that I mentor and just prevention topics. We also want to provide a platform to empower women and inspire women as part of our mentorship program. So there you have it. And thank you for those who have ordered. I've gotten a few orders off my site. So, of course, this is something I design on my own time on the week, on the Saturdays and Sundays. I use it with the agency that I mentor with, and the nonprofit and the agency that I mentor with. But I designed this myself. I wanted to have something special that I could make for my girls. But then again, it's on my website. So for those who want to support the movement, if you just want to follow along, the idea is also to gauge the need that's out there. If we do find that there may be another agency out there that's looking for mentors, then we may be able to expand our mentorship program. And that's through Sale of Freedom. So yeah, so as we continue, if you're an agency out there, you're interested, of course, all my contact information is on my website, and you can just fill out the contact form on site as well. So that's my brief little introduction and announcement. But I love it, y'all. So today was supposed to be my first day writing in here this morning. That's going to be my new habit, is to write in it every day, first thing, give myself some time to write in this first thing every morning. So I was going to start this morning. I was reflecting, but I didn't get to the pencil. I ended up having to jump into too many things. But I will get my pencil to the pad, to the paper, and we will be sharing that. So I hope you let me know if you like the design, and when you order, let me know if you have any preference, but feedback, preference, all that. There's a contact form on site. So there they are. This started as a concept and now it's a real tangible thing. So I love this. I love how this came out. It's gorgeous. So, all right. So let's get into it. As mentioned, the link to the website is in the video description. I also dropped it in the chat so you can find it there. And let's get into it. I will do my best to keep this one also kind of brief since we're covering 2 topics and to catch y'all up. So first, let's discuss sequence 23, the topic life skills. So in our mentorship program, we have different phases in our program. And just for a general overview, for those when they first start the program, of course, we're just getting to know each other. We're just developing and building rapport. We're really just getting to know each other, our likes, dislikes, who we are as a person, that sort of thing, supporting the client to kind of better identify themselves. And everyone's different. Every mentorship is different with each individual. Some are more interested and receptive to that process. And, it just really depends what the youth has going on. But the main foundation is just getting to know each other and building a little bit of rapport and trust. From there, of course, I give them a foundation in prevention education. From there, we build on, safety and healthy relationships, and building on top of that, developing their own voice, developing their own choice, their own freedom, their autonomy, and advocating for themselves. From there, we really get into life skills. That's kind of the last phase before we get them ready for graduation. And I mean, it varies. The program, I always say, I always ask my girls when they my young queens, when they commit to the program, to at least commit to 6 to 12. If they could give me at least 6 months on average, we say it's 6 to 12 months. But depending on the client, it's more often, it could be up to 2 years. And then there are special cases where some, of course, want to stay on. So we prefer for mentorship to be something that's, with an open door policy, that we're always there for our clients, even after graduation. But at a certain point, clients are ready to move on to the next thing, so yeah, that's part of the process. We don't want to keep y'all forever, but we do want to continue to be a layer of support for you all. And again, that's why we're developing some of these other resources now that we didn't have before, so that we can reach graduates and other individuals who are seeking out mentorship, that we can continue to expand our program. So that's my little spiel. And so that brings us back into sequence 23. Today's topic is life skills. So even if you're in the program and you're not there yet, it's okay. Life skills is a constant process, and it's a topic that we definitely just need to cover in prevention education. So life skills are generally just the skills that anyone needs to learn or develop in order to make the most out of life, or to become the best version of themselves, to be all that you can be in this life, and to truly achieve your goals and, to your fulfillment as a human being in this mode of existence, right? So some of the basic life skills in mentorship, or just in any arena that we are wanting to learn, or like personal care, like self-care, also household skills, how to clean, cooking, cleaning, how to manage a household for those that are living on their own. That would include, occupation and employment, as well as finances. So depending on what the source of income is, but, paying the bills, doing the bookkeeping, that sort of thing. Also recreation and leisure, what someone wants to do with do they have hobbies? Do they have other goals that they want to work on developing in their free time? Education as well. I didn't mention that goes along with occupation. Maybe they're in school, or maybe they're completing their diploma or GED. Maybe you're in the process of completing or studying for your GED or diploma right now. And then after that, also just looking into what your interests are, what your career path is going to be, what educational trajectory you need to be on, and learning those skills of how to apply for college, how to apply for technical college or school, trade school, those sort of things. Recreation and leisure. And then what else? Oh yeah, occupation, employment, recreation, leisure, hobbies, like I said, exercise, that ties back into self-care. And I didn't mention also self-awareness and confidence. That kind of goes back to personal care. Even before that, just confidence, self-awareness. And that's something that we work on building earlier on in mentorship, before we get to the other life skills, which are more so, like I said, housekeeping, occupational finances, school, goals, all those things. So there are different models, different models that teach life skills, and they have different approaches. And in one model out there, and I don't know if there's a name to this model, but they break it down into 4 different categories, which would be positive mindset, thinking skills, community mindset, and interpersonal skills. So the positive mindset would be more so about developing the skills of resilience, self-awareness, confidence, self-management, and well-being. The thinking skills are more of the creative thinking or the critical thinking, problem solving, budgeting, decision making, leadership, technical skills. So you see that kind of ties into leadership, which we'll discuss after we get through life skills. And then the interpersonal skills, so like teamwork, collaboration, learning to work with other people, intercultural communication, because not everybody communicates the same. Like I said, team building, teamwork, employment, and conflict management as well. So how to handle and to solve conflicts when they do arise, which is inevitable. Things will pop up every now and again. How do we handle that? And community mindset. So that's more of like, it's funny that's added now. This wouldn't have been there when I was younger, but responsible digital participation is, are my mentorship and advocacy program videos responsible? Is this a responsible form of digital participation? So the way you put yourself out there, um, of course, that would include no bullying and all that other stuff under uh, digital responsibility, cultural understanding. So also, not only thinking about yourself and your own community, but thinking about what it's like in somebody else's shoes that is not maybe your community but somebody else. Responsibility, empathy, social awareness, social action, social tolerance, so all those things. There's another model that looks at like the top 10 life skills, and they're also broken down into 3 subcategories. So in that model, and it reflects the other one. They're similar. They're just kind of broken down in a different way. So in that model, there are the coping and self-management skills, which I would say that's more like the positive mindset. So coping and self-management skills include self-awareness, coping with stress, and coping with emotions. So again, that's a huge part of mentorship, is developing coping skills. Most of my clients, peace to the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the chat. Peace and welcome. So yeah, most of my girls in the program, my young queens, come in, they've been through something, by the time they're referred to me, they've been through something, something's happened, or they've been at high risk. So by the time they come to me, they've been dealing with some stress, they've been dealing with some emotions, they've been dealing with some things. So, really, that goes from the start as we're getting to know each other and building from there and developing those coping skills. We work on that early on. That's a process throughout mentorship. And then again, really getting into that again. And once we get into life skills. So there are different coping skills. They may be exercise. They may be getting sufficient rest, self-care, just having a really good self-care and health regimen, eating right, sleeping right, getting enough rest, journaling, so journaling is another huge thing. As a matter of fact, this almanac, our program almanac, our workbook was really designed, with coping skills and a little bit of self-management. So a lot of that is right in here. The coping skills and management skills. So you've got your calendars, your weekly planners, your adult coloring, some space for note taking, not a lot of space for journaling. There might be, you might fit some of that in if you're not writing a lot in your planner or a lot in your note section, but that's why I went ahead and designed our journal. So that is available. And that gives you more space, so that's the supplement that gives you more space for that self-care, that coping skill, journaling. And then also like art therapy. That's something that we've worked on a lot on Fridays during the Jazz Flower from 6 to 8 on Friday. We haven't been going live for a while. We used to. There's probably a bunch of old lives somewhere. They may be archived or they may just be unlisted. But we used to go live and do our graffiti books. Here, let me actually show you real quick. Or here's a little painting. This is not done. I was starting a painting. It is not done, my friends. My brother is a master painter. And I need to work on, I got a little something, but I need to practice. This is not done. But that's okay. Nothing has to be perfect. This is a process for sure. And we can all be beginners. But yeah, we used to do our sketchbooking during the Jazz Flower or live painting. And we'll bring that back. We just have a lot going on. So we have a lot going on. So we wanted to build the foundation up with the mentorship topics and also life skills. Again, these are some coping skills. Those are some of the things that we have previously worked on. Yeah, so you'll see I didn't get too far in my sketchbook. But yeah, that's something I like to provide clients as well. So Coping with stress, coping with emotions, self-awareness, journaling is great for all of that. And then, like I said, the self-care regimen and the art therapy, those are kind of my go-to things. But then there are also specific skills that we also use for, other situations. It might be just identifying, something with your different senses, like something you can, slowing yourself down, slowing down your breathing exercises, yoga, but also just identifying like what can you hear, what can you feel, what can you smell, just like identifying your senses can help bring you back into your body and kind of help calm the nervous system. So we learned some different skills for that. All right, so that was the first category, the 3 out of the top 10. The first category, coping and self-management skills, self-awareness, coping with stress, coping with emotions. Then secondly, secondly, interpersonal and communication skills. So those 3 skills under that subcategory are empathy, effective communication, and interpersonal communication. So empathy, the ability to both empathize with yourself, but also to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Have an effective communication. That's really learning is your communication effective? So part of effective communication is nonviolent communication. Is our communication coming across in a way that is not harmful, that is not going to come across as harmful to the other person? So being sensitive to that, because if our communication is hurtful to someone else, it's probably not going to be very effective. They're not going to be as open to that. So, but then again, we also want to be honest. So learning how to be honest and respectful at the same time, that would be effective communication. Also, just being clear, just having clarity is an important part of effective communication. Sometimes people are not clear, they don't follow up, or they miss important details, or they don't follow up when they're supposed to. All those things, it's important to have clarity and to be to follow up when you're supposed to follow up. That's part of effective communication. And interpersonal communication. So that's also just, is the other person understanding you? Kind of being able to check those cues to see, or to ask them, or sometimes even stop and ask ourselves, like, hey, this is what I heard you hear, or I think this is what I'm hearing you say. Like sometimes when we need to get clarity, or interpersonally, if it's intercultural. So there might be a cultural barrier where the communication style may be different. And it might be body language. One culture, the body language may be different than another. So all those things can be important. Then the third subcategory, coping. Oh, no, not coping. I'm sorry. We've already did that one. Creative thinking and decision making. So yeah, like I said, these kind of cross the other model. So those creative thinking and decision making are critical thinking, creative thinking, decision making, and problem solving. So critical thinking, it's like, are we really thinking something through critically? Are we thinking it beneath the surface? Are we getting to the root? Creative thinking, are we thinking outside of the box? Are we allowing ourselves to think beyond our limitations, any limitations? Decision making, it's important to be able to make a decision and to stand by that and to know that all is in divine order when we move on that decision. And then problem solving, again, when there's a conflict, how are we going to resolve that conflict? If there's a problem, what are the steps we can take? And sometimes it's just asking for the right support, and sometimes we have to go to multiple people before we find the right answer. Sometimes I've been in situations where I didn't find the right answer, and that never feels good. Or you get the right answer, but sometimes it's too late for that answer, So, developing that muscle of problem solving and searching for the right support person or the right information. But if we don't find it, to know that it's okay to keep going. Like I said, we're all beginners, and 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 knowledge is infinite. Knowledge is an infinite process of gaining more knowledge, right? So again, I'm just going to read through the 10. So those were the subcategories. But again, self-awareness, empathy, critical thinking, creative thinking, decision making, problem solving, effective communication, interpersonal communication, coping with stress, and coping with emotions. So I would say within mentorship, we definitely go over all that. But just more generally, coping skills and then life skills more so. We kind of refer to coping skills specifically because that's something, a subcategory, right, that we really need within mentorship. Um, Again, our population, I should say, I don't like to say target when I say it this way. I say it that way when I'm talking about like the books or the curriculums, but it's not really a target, but our primary audience, rather, that's how I want to say it. Our primary audience are young at-risk youth, ages 12 to 24, specifically in mentorship, girls. But more generally, like I said, it's more generally ages, our primary audience are youth ages 12 to 24 and young adult readers, or basically 12 and up, all those seeking self-improvement. So coping skills for our primary audience are very important. And then the other life skills more generally are referring to housing, if they're aging out, housing, education, um, self-care, education. Self-care ties in with coping skills, but it's also a life skill. So self-care, education, communication, occupation, and finances. So like I said, housing, all of those things, especially if they're in that population aging out, 18 plus. So they may need those assistance with those sort of life skills as well. So those are the main life skills within mentorship. Again, this is why it's important that we build our women's empowerment network. So not only myself, I'm an artist, I'm a mentor, and I'm really working on getting back into my artistry, but I want to have representation. And I have a lot of other experience, of course, in the field, recovering missing children and so forth, and radio, jazz radio all day. So that's part of my music. Part of what I do. But I want to bring other sisters on, other powerful sisters, lawyers, producers, directors. I want to bring other powerful sisters on, organizers and so forth, business owners. I want to bring other powerful sisters on to inspire all my young queens and just to really empower one another, and be a platform to empower these women as well. Other artists as well. So definitely all of that, sharing our poetry and so forth. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's why I had to get the journal out so we can really start, doing all that in the journal. So yeah, that's pretty much life skills here in mentorship in a nutshell. So I know I've kind of gone long on that topic. So let me transition into leadership. I'm not going to say as much on leadership, just a little bit. Of course, it's very different within mentorship because mentorship is so individualized, So leadership, a few general definitions online include the action of leading a group of people or an organization. I wanted to add to that definition also action of leading oneself or a group of people or an organization. And it's also defined as leadership is defined as a set of behaviors used to help people align their collective direction, to execute strategic plans, and to continually renew an organization. So that's more so in the context of an organization. It's also broadly defined as the ability to guide or influence others, or to accomplish a goal through the direction of human assistance. So having a goal and through the collaboration with a team that's all assisting and on the same page, to accomplish that goal through a group of individuals. But I really, here in mentorship, I want to speak of leadership as more so as being the action of leading oneself, and the ability to guide or influence first and foremost oneself. So if we're looking to accomplish a goal, first and foremost, we need to define what that goal is for oneself. And then, guide or influence that goal. So kind of breaking it down into steps, breaking that goal down into steps, and then having that support person, which may be your mentor, and may be an accountability partner, which can be a peer or another person, who you're both empowering one another and encouraging one another to achieve your goals. That accountability partner, just make sure they're thorough and that they are truly speaking life into you and that it's mutual. You're both speaking life into each other's goals, or else it's not going to be the best accountability partner. So like I said, a mentor or a life coach, those are great individuals as well, because that's pretty much what we do. That's what we're here for, is to speak life into you. So we will strive to do more of that here, of course. And so just having a well-defined goal, breaking it down into action steps that are clearly defined. We can use SMART goals. I can share a sheet with all of y'all, or you can find that online. If you search for SMART goals, it will break it down. I do have a PDF for my clients for that. And then being able to having the ability to guide or influence. It said a group of individuals, a group of people, or an organization. We're going to have to guide and influence ourselves first. And through the process of that, we will come to identify other individuals who we can partner with or who can assist us in achieving those goals. And that could be anything, right? That could literally be anything. Like, hey, I'm striving to go to school. Who can assist me with learning how to complete the application? All those things are learning to guide or, maybe consider learning to guide or influence, not so much what other people are going to do, but we also always want to look at leadership at setting, at least within mentorship, leadership is more about being the example ourselves. So clearly defining that goal, being that example, and through being the best version of ourselves and that example, we're from there really able to show and prove our power and guide and influence others through our leadership example, right? So that is basically it. I don't know I have much more to say about leadership. Well, I guess just in terms of how that ties into mentorship in the field of prevention and human trafficking, there is a term called survivor leadership. So not only being a survivor of human trafficking or being a survivor mentor who mentors others, but truly being a leader. And that's kind of where you really come into your own self or your own goals. You have more autonomy over yourself and your voice, and you're able to really lead yourself, and be a leader, and by being true to yourself and not just fitting into a role. That's one thing, of course, is always criticized, I should say, or that people are critical about, when there's like a token person in an organization, like the token survivors, the token whatever the organization is, where they want to bring in somebody marginalized just to kind of give a little bit more credibility to the organization. So we don't ever want survivors, or any individual for that matter, to be like a token or anything like that. We truly want to empower one another. And so that starts with empowering ourselves, knowing our own purpose, and being able to walk into that purpose. So it is a process. Survivor leadership is a process, and that's okay. Like I said, we all start as beginners, and we're here to support you. So again, we are going to continue to develop this positive message on Mondays. We'll be doing our 52 topics. We're still better clearly defining the length of this. Like I said, our primary audience is age 12 to 24. So some of them like the longer videos, some of them want something shorter. So please, y'all, I do have a submission form on site on the mentorship page. The link is in the chat. It's underneath the video. The submission form, I ask you, if you could, every time you see one of these videos, if you'll just take a few minutes and hop over to that and just enter your name, your email, and your feedback, that would be wonderful. There's a few questions on there, but if you have any general feedback, our third question is, what can we improve? How can we improve? So even just that, link, this and that, whatever your feedback is, we will take that. Mondays, we're doing the 52 topic sequence, one topic every week, unless we're playing catch up like we did last Monday and this Monday. But aside from that, Wednesdays, we're developing our Women's Empowerment Network. Here, I had it in a separate playlist before. Right now, it's in the same playlist. And we'll be developing our journals and pretty soon bringing some guests on Wednesdays. And stay tuned for the rest, y'all. Like I said, Mondays and Wednesdays at 4 o'clock, time permitting, if there's no conflict with our other activities. And then Fridays, 6 to 8 is the Jazz Flowers, always on this channel. So if we're not going live, you can always just tune in or find the link to tune in to the radio directly. And that's, of course, all on the website too. The Jazz Flower is on the website. So you can always just tune in and listen and work on your journal, your workbook. That could be your little block of homework time, 6 to 8 on Friday. Or you can join us for some art therapy, whether we're going live or if we're not live. If we're doing that in private, you can always do your art therapy at the same time that we're doing ours. So that's our schedule right now. We're sticking to it as best as we can. Thank you so much for hopping on. Peace to the chat and everybody who I saw tuned in. My clients, of course, everybody, like I said, submission form, call me. We're going to get it on our calls. If you need to hit me up this evening, that's fine. Or definitely we're going to get on our calls tomorrow and Tuesday. So that is all for now, y'all. I hope you love the design. I really love it. And that's all for now, y'all. And again, you'll see it one more time, the Mentorship and Advocacy Program Almanac 2023. So peace and blessings, y'all. Thanks for being here, and I'll see y'all soon. I come in the name of Earth. Say love, say is short for Savior, because we're all out here. We're all saviors out here, saving ourselves and empowering each other to save oneself. And love, y'all. So peace and love. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.